She promised him paradise. He expected pleasure. What he got was something that could destroy the galaxy. Kyle Rowe lay buried in the wreckage of his gunship, smoke rising from the scorched red sands of Virex 9. Blood streaked down his temple. The mission had gone to hell, ambushed, betrayed, and left for dead in hostile alien territory. The silence of the desert was only broken by the crackle of fire and the hiss of molten metal cooling. But then she appeared, a silhouette carved from obsidian dusk, walking through the storm with regal grace. Not a rescue crew, not a scavenger, something else. Her armor shimmered with living circuitry, and her crimson eyes studied him like he was both prey and prophecy. "You are Kale Rowe," she said in flawless galactic common. "Who wants to know? I am Sayalari of the Crimson Covenant, and I have come to offer you a pact." They sat beneath the ruined wing of Kale's ship, wind howling outside their makeshift shelter. She didn't blink, didn't smile. Selari was cold, calculated, and impossibly beautiful, each word she spoke measured like a weapon. "My people are dying, betrayed by the Kadrex swarm. We need a fighter who knows their tactics, someone expendable, someone with nothing to lose." "And what do I get?" Sailari's expression didn't change, but her next words hit like a gravity bomb. "If you fight beside me and help us reclaim the Crystal Nexus, you will be rewarded beyond your comprehension." "Money?" She leaned in, her voice a purr of thunder. "You will be given access to my sisters, all 12, unmated, warriors and priestesses. They will be yours." Kyle stared. "You're joking." "I do not joke, Kyle Rowe. In our culture, the one who saves the bloodline earns the right to seed it." Kyle followed Selari into the Temple of Embers, a hidden sanctuary carved into the cliffs. Her sisters were there, 12 deadly beauties, each more terrifying and mesmerizing than the last. They trained with weapons Kyle had never seen. They moved like flames, spoke like riddles. But they watched him, every single one. He was the outsider, the human, the gamble, and they whispered about him in their alien tongue, always just loud enough for him to hear. "He's not worthy. He bleeds too easily. Selari is desperate." And yet, Kale trained, harder than he ever had, because he wasn't just fighting for survival now, he was fighting for a place in something bigger, something eternal, something intoxicating. The Kadrex came at night, not through the sky, but from beneath, burrowing, screeching, 1,000 legs, acid spit, blades for limbs. Kyle fought beside Sailari, shoulder to shoulder, heart pounding in his ears. Her voice was calm in the chaos. "Left flank, spin and thrust, now." He obeyed, and together they danced through the bloodbath, one a storm of plasma, the other a cyclone of fire. Afterward, drenched in gore, they stood in silence above the smoking battlefield. "You fight like one of us," Sailari said softly. Kyle looked at her, eyes locked. "And you bleed like one of us." Later that night, by the glow of the Nexus crystals, Sailari came to him, alone, not in armor, not as a general, as a woman. She stood before him in ceremonial silk, red and gold, wrapping around curves he'd only glimpsed through plates of battle-forged alloy. "You've earned the right to choose," she whispered. "My sisters await. But what if I choose you?" Her breath caught. "You cannot. I am the Bloodkeeper. I belong to none." Kyle stepped forward, voice low. "Then maybe the rules need to break." Their lips met like colliding stars, and the desert trembled. The next morning, the temple was burning. One of Sayalari's sisters had betrayed them, driven by jealousy, by ancient laws, or perhaps by fear of what Kale represented. The Kadrex had found them. The swarm was larger now, unholy and relentless. Their queen, a monstrous fusion of flesh and metal, towered over the battlefield. Kale and Sayalari fought through the carnage, but the Covenant was faltering. One by one, her sisters fell. "This isn't war," Kale shouted over the roar of weapons. "This is extinction." Sayalari's face was unreadable. "I warned you, Kyle. Our pact comes with blood." Cornered in the Nexus core, Kyle made the ultimate choice. He activated the overload sequence, a suicide tactic from his military days. Sayalari turned to him in horror. "You will die." He smiled. "But you'll live, and maybe your people get another chance." He pressed the detonator. But before the chamber exploded, a vortex opened, a teleport beacon. Sailari had triggered it at the last second. They fell through space in a whirl of light and screams. Kale woke in a healing pod, high above a jungle world. Sailari was by his side. "You saved us," she whispered. "You saved me first." Her fingers brushed his cheek. "My sisters are gone, but the line must continue." He sat up slowly. "And what of our pact?" Selari stood, her silhouette framed by twin moons. "It still stands, but not with my sisters. With me." Kyle blinked. "Wasn't that forbidden?" She smiled for the first time. "I rewrote the law." Years later, stories spread through the outer systems of a human who fought beside the Crimson Queen, of children born with silver eyes and fire in their blood, of a love that turned the tide of a galaxy-wide war, and of a pact, not of conquest, but of choice. Kyle Rowe was no longer just a soldier. He was legend, and at his side ruled a queen who had chosen not a king, but a partner.